Welcome to the Halo Combat Evolved walkthrough on Legendary difficulty for NextGenWalkthroughs.com. I'm Sword of ForumsExtreme.com, and this is part 2 of 343 Guilty Spark. As soon as you come out of the cutscene, you're going to have some weapons near you, and there's a pistol there that you can get rounds from, so you'll want to do that, and then come right over here, because this is the first door that's going to open up with your first exposure to infection form of the Flood, which I call the little guys. They're also known as Flood Spore, and they're little balloon-like creatures that pop when you kill them, and the particles that come off of them will blow up other Flood Spore that are near them, or infection form. So you don't have to shoot every one, and you want to get them all in a group like this, and then just take out the lead ones. Make them follow you so they all stay sort of in a single file in a sense, and stay in a group, all lined up. And then just take out the lead ones, and they'll keep blowing up the ones next to them. I go to in the room that's behind me mainly to draw them out so that I can shoot them. And then once this room's done, you're going to want to go to the front, which is the door you originally came in. And what I do is I throw a frag grenade in because there's combat form in there, and in this part they're all former elites. And I try to lay the frag grenade right at their feet so it'll take them all out, and then I follow up with a plasma just to make sure I got everyone. Now as soon as I'm done with all the infection form, all the little guys, I'll switch over to an assault rifle, or whenever the plasma rifle runs out, I'll switch over. And one of the keys, if the grenade doesn't work out with the combat form, is to fight going backwards. The other key is that you can draw them towards you with gunfire. They'll either come towards you based on them seeing you or based on them hearing gunfire. They love gunfire. They come running for gunfire all the time. And they're always going to run towards you, so you can plan on that and kind of lead them with a grenade. You don't really want to stick them with plasmas because they're going to run towards you, so I throw them on the floor and then just kind of plan the timing. And I stay near the doorway in this spot when I first do that. And then they can't come out very far, and the grenade takes them out. Now once you shoot off their whip arm, they can't do much. They just kind of follow you around like a pet. And when you come out here, you see the Flood and the Covenant fighting. And pretty much whenever they're fighting, I just let them fight. Now what I do here is a little grenade trick. I draw on the Flood with gunfire again. And then I watch them on the radar to see when they're all in a group below me. And as soon as they are, I just take out a frag, and from back here, if you've drawn them all the way to the wall, you can bounce the grenade off that little wall, and it'll take them all out with one grenade. In this spot, you have Covenant up on the top and Flood down on the bottom, and they'll start fighting. Sometimes you have to spark the fight, and usually what I'll do is I'll just kind of sneak out a little bit and shoot one of the jackals that's showing. Now I didn't mean to stick that guy. What I was trying to do was stick somebody farther away, because you don't want them to run at you with a plasma on them. Because they kind of lose track of you after losing sight of you after about 2 seconds, you can keep going around that square. And coming out like this causes 2 grunts to come down from the top, so that's another way you can kind of spark the fight a little bit. I had to draw back in so you didn't get to see the grunts come down, but you'll be able to do this a few times and see it. And these hallways can be a good place to fight too, because they have to come at you single file, so you can't get surrounded really. You just have to be careful of the little side rooms, because there's Flood in there, and their whip arms, it's kind of a glitch, but their whip arms can actually reach out through the door. They shouldn't be able to, but they do. So I let them fight for a while, and eventually I come out. Sometimes the Covenant wins, sometimes the Flood wins. I wait until they kind of ball up underneath or group up underneath the Covenant, and sometimes I'll throw a frag there. That's what I was more trying to do at the beginning. And eventually you just have to kind of come out and finish off who's ever left. This is just the easier way to do it. I mean, you could come out sooner and kill them off too. And there's a health pack here if you need it. Now you can come up here even if you're under fire, basically. You can use this barrier next to me as cover. So you come up quick, get behind that barrier, and you'll be safe. Usually there'll be a couple jackals up there. That first body has a pistol there, so you want to get rounds from it. And the same thing here, I kind of pop out. I fire a little bit and draw some of the flood in. And again, their whip arms are gone, so they can't do anything. Little personal space there. Now this is a little trick that I do just to show there's not really a great strategic advantage here, except that the combat form can't come up here. Only the infection form can crawl up the walls. But as the elevator is coming down, you can jump off and land on the structure here. So just something neat you can do, or something different. So your main strategies with the flood are, whenever possible, you want to use a shotgun at close range. That's the best weapon against the combat form. Your combat forms in Halo Combat Evolved are either going to be former humans or former elites. And on the infection form, the best weapons usually are the plasma rifle, followed by the pistol, followed by the assault rifle. Though it's somewhat a matter of choice, of course. Then it also helps to fight going in reverse, and using gunfire to draw the flood towards you, using frags on flood, or putting plasmas on the ground usually. Unless you know they're not going to come towards you, then you can stick them. Now as soon as you come out here, you get the invis, and then you can go around that little structure, and by the time you come around the other side, you'll be completely invisible. I wait up here and look for the shotguns, and this is a big key to finishing this level very easily on Legendary. There's actually shotguns in this room. There's usually 3 of them, and I just picked up one. There's the second one, and I can almost always find at least 2. And one of them will have about 40 to 50 rounds, and the other 2 will have a little more than 10 rounds. And I'll usually stick some of the elites, or former elites that are now flood, along the way. And then I try to have my active camo last until about here. Another thing I do is I stay off the glass whenever I'm on these upper levels, and then before I go through the door, I just make sure no one's following me. Now when you can't find all the shotguns that are on the ground, they'll usually be up here. You'll find 1 or 2 up here sometimes. Sometimes one of the elite combat forms will have it up here, and other times it'll just be laying on the platform. If it's laying on the ground up here, it's usually right here. And that's the end of part 2.